阁下之龙之变化，龙之为物，可比世之英雄。生则飞腾于宇宙之间，隐则潜伏于波涛之内。有这么勾结，难以取胜。曹某尚未落败。
有不好运。
Hi, this is Dusty. Today I just want to showcase my build and to give some tips on how you could improve your own builds to do more damage. To start off, let's take a look at the most difficult piece to get, the two accessories. As you can see, there's damage reduction for HP recovery, and this is HP recovery when doing wizardry damage. Same with the second accessory, a power gain on HP recovery, and HP recovery from melee attack damage. These are the two most difficult pieces to get, but as you can see, I have multiple pieces like this, so even though they are rare, they are not so rare that it's impossible to get. As you can see, they could even come in 4-star form, so don't be afraid to farm for these things. Next to note is that I am using the Ling Bao set. What this set does is it provides multiple debuffs while also having the principal Ling Bao, which, as you can see from the description, also increases damage based on the number of negative effects up to 3. How this is important is that, as you can see, my helmet provides damage amplification, which is a negative effect, as well as my two weapons, which are identical, which also has damage amplification for martial arts. So that's one set of damage amps. The second is from the graces itself. If I do a martial arts, they have a debuff where they take more spirit damage. If I use a wizardry spell, they get a power drop. And for a fatal strike, more damage amplification. So I have 3 forms of damage amplification. Alright, that being said, how all these synergize is that when I attack an enemy with just about anything, I get a power gain, which is a damage boost, and a damage amp. So that's 2 stages of damage boosts. At the same time, I have damage reduction while also having power drop for opponents. So I do a lot of outgoing damage and I take very little incoming damage. That being said, note that the pieces of armor I have are among the lightest equipment that you could get. It's possible to farm warlocks to get the warlock pieces, since that's mostly what they drop. But the assassin pieces are a bit more random to get. That being said, the reason why I went for these two sets is that they don't have a innate affix that would stop me from using the premium affix spot to increase damage against enemies with negative effects. For my weapons, this could be anything you want, but personally I prefer straight sabers, more specifically the Sirius. The reason why I picked the Sirius is because it does not have an innate affix, so you could pick whatever you want. In my case, since I'm wearing such light armor, I'm receiving a damage boost based on the lightweightness of my armor, along with some extra melee attack. For my ranged weapons, preferably you go for Ling Bao or set bonus mitigation. Although I did have to admit, this particular piece took me so many accolades to randomly get it from the vendor, the accolade vendor. Anyways, you're unlikely to get anything like this, so you can settle for a crossbow, which is a very common drop. But if you're like me and a very heavy stickler for repeating crossbows, then you don't have much of a choice. This is probably one of the most difficult pieces to get, along with the accessories. However, the weapons and the armor pieces should be relatively easy, since all this needs is a specific martial arts, which is Windbreak, and the armor pieces only needs this specific grace. So armors and weapons easy to get, accessories a bit harder. You just keep training with the pandas until you get something you like. Bows and crossbows, somewhat easy. Yeah, just somewhat easy. The repeating crossbow, near impossible, takes forever. That being said, for my spells, I went with Amplify Damage, which is a very nice boost. This boost actually goes... How should I put this? This damage boost goes after every single other damage boost available, so this will increase your damage almost 50% when combined with everything else. And Overpowered Burst, which basically doubles your next martial arts or wizardry spell's damage. And those are the only two buffs you need. These are the three simple spells that I'm using. They're good for multiple situations that use very little spirit to use. As you know, each wizardry spell gives me every martial arts and wizardry spell gives me attack up, defense up, and it gives the opponent defense down, attack down, and spirit vulnerability. Then we have the 3 major spells. And I'm using this for the auto revive. Then we have my stats. I'm going with 100 wood, 100 fire, and 102 water. This can be any stat you want, but you want to align these specifically with your weapon. In my case, since my series uses these 3 particular stats, I'm running the 3 exact stats that align with my weapon. That being said, I think that's all I have for now. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.